Now then, it's that time for some more Aston Martin Road to Glory here today for the Canadian Grand Prix. Now, if you haven't seen the previous one at Baku, go check it out, guys. Link in the top right for the previous episode. Spoilers ahead, pretty big spoilers, so you have been warned. You've got about 3 seconds, and then I'm going to talk about it. So, yeah, here we are, Canada, a track which usually delivers good racing and also is usually an easier track for us. The AI aren't as strong around here. After Baku, a race in which we scored our first point of the series so far, we arrive here with momentum and hopefully some positivity in this weekend. Now, as you can see, we have received an upgrade for the aerodynamics, and we're going to go ahead and add some more. But as you'll be able to see, there's not actually any upgrades available in the aero, and on the chassis, the only thing we can purchase is the engine cover, which doesn't have a discount, but it's a major upgrade, so we'll go ahead and buy it. Then we also got confirmation of the ERS cooling upgrade, which also enabled us to get a few more extra upgrades, but they're not really performance related. They're essentially for ERS and fuel. So right now we don't really have any upgrades left on aero, chassis or engine power. So we're kind of, in limbo right now, waiting for Aston Martin to deliver some facility upgrades and, unlock fabrication level 2 and give us the ability to move forward and hopefully improve the car some more in the future. Now, as you can see, I wasn't given a proper detailed forecast for the weekend, but it looks like we got some rain in qualifying and the race. That aside, here is the performance chart this weekend. So we go sideways as the upgrades were on the car for Baku. Williams bring a big package, and we're now officially the slowest team on the grid. But if you look at the overall gap, the entire grid is really closed up, as Red Bull also don't bring any upgrades this weekend. So the field spread is actually getting a lot closer. We've got 4 upgrades now officially on the way, so hopefully they'll all arrive and they'll give us a step in the right direction, hopefully closing the gap to AlphaTauri and the bottom part of the midfield. But here we are, currently in practice. Now, we made our way through the programs and got a maximum score. The car felt okay, not brilliant, but we seem to have some pace. As you can see, the lap times are very, very good. And also, for the first time this season, our actual tyre wear was above target and ahead of, what the predicted tyre wear rate is. So a positive session, and we bring over a big bunch of R&D points. We get a few discounts, but only for durability components, as that's all we have available right now. And yeah, we're going to have to maybe look at buying some durability upgrades, because maybe they might unlock some more upgrades elsewhere in terms of performance. But I'll have to kind of investigate that one, in more detail in between episodes. For now, though, here we are in qualifying, and as I mentioned before, we've got rain potentially forecast, so we'll find out if and when it does arrive. For now, Q1, and currently underway on my first timed lap. Soft tyres on the car, and first proper lap in anger, as we have a bit of a moment out of turn number 2. Just catching some oversteer, turn 3 and 4 there as well, just struggling as we invalidate, and just not the best start to the lap. I actually turned the engine down after sector 1, and we're going to basically go for a cool down lap and try again. On a second attempt, this time we get through the lap pretty fine, to be fair. The pace was relatively decent, making our way now into the final chicane. This can make or break your lap. We're going to bounce over the curbs, a bit tentative, a little bit safe, as we have a bit of oversteer again on the exit. Up to the line, let's see what the lap is. I'm not too convinced, but it's P9, and that's better than I thought. So yeah, not too bad about it. That's not too shabby. We're P11 now. Once everyone finished their runs, you can see Latifi is on the cusp. Bottas has just improved and has stayed 18th. So not sure exactly how that's going to pan out, but the gaps are pretty close. So we're going to have to go back out again, because we simply do not have the margin. So here we are, a fresh set of tyres, and we've got essentially the plan of going for just one single lap here. So checkered flag drops, and we're going to get into it. Turn 1, I just don't get anywhere near the apex. It's a poor start to the lap. Turn 2 as well, I'm kind of offline because of the fact that I understeered at 1, but the exit was good and we find some time. 3 and 4, again, not really ideal. I don't really get enough of the curb at 3, so I'm compromised through 4, taking a tighter line. But we're up in sector 1 a little bit, but it could have been easily another 2 tenths if I got a clean run. We absolutely nailed the left-right at the start of sector 2, which gives us a full 10th, and now into the right-left. Just a bit of hesitation there. The back end not working well. I had a slight screen freeze in the brake zone, which just threw me off a little bit. Into the hairpin now though, third gear, patient here on the throttle as you look to get the traction down, and we're going to pretty much match our previous lap through there. It's not really the improvement I was looking for, especially with such fine margins, but it could come down to this final chicane as we have Alonso right behind also on a lap. We bounce over the curbs and absolutely nail it, and that could just make the difference as we run up to the line. Checkered flag drops and we're through in 13th place into Q2, while Lance Stroll in his home Grand Prix is going to start from the back of the grid. So a big moment there, and we did need that lap to improve, otherwise we would have been knocked out, and that final chicane was the difference maker. So a very big moment as we now move into Q2. You can see as soon as the session starts, we've got rain in 10 minutes. So by the looks of it, this is when the rain's going to now play a part in this weekend's action, and we're probably only going to get one run or one timed lap. So we need to make it count. You can see the clouds have already formed, and this is actually an advantage because the visibility in Q1 was terrible because of the shadows and the sun being quite low. So I actually prefer this. It's going to give us much better indications as to where we are in terms of our overall, placement, and I can see the apex is better and throw the car around a lot more. As you can see, pretty decent turns 1 and 2 into 3 and 4. This time we get lots of inside curb and get that run much smoother through there. Sector 1 in the books and 19.6. Now we head into Sector 2, 6 and 7, hooking these up beautifully with the DRS open on the exit. Ricardo setting the pace with a 1 minute 9.5 as we head down into the right left. No shadows, no distractions. This time we get through smoothly with no oversteer, and that is much more like it. Down to the hairpin then, trying to spot the braking just after the 100. Down to third, we just pick up some understeer and outbrake ourselves a little bit. You can make it up on traction and getting the power down, but I think overall I've probably lost about a tenth through the hairpin. But we're now getting a slight tow from this car in front as we make our way into the final chicane. This time visibility is fine, so we just bump over the curbs pretty nicely through there, and now up to the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 10.1, and that gives us P7, and most of the cars have done their lap. We're only a couple of tenths off the Merc, and look at that, we're through as qualifying ends and the rain started to fall. Nobody got a second run in that session, and that was it. Charles Leclerc, the big scalp and the big surprise in that session. So very happy with that. We actually go a little bit quicker than Q1 by about 1.4 tenths, which again proved to be the difference. Otherwise, we may have just been knocked out. So very happy with that one. And yeah, the car working well and we're improving. So we're now going to move into Q3, and we have that rain, of course, to factor in, which could be interesting. Now, I got caught in a bit of an awkward situation here. Everyone went out in the intermediates for this first run. Me, literally none of the cars, everyone. But I had absolutely no pace. Literally no pace whatsoever. I was struggling to get some front end turn in. I was struggling to find traction. Oversteer, understeer, all of it. You name it, I had it. And we were a long way off the pace, as you can see in the top left. So I was a bit mystified. I tried to go for a second push lap, and Gasly got out of the way nicely. I managed to also have an okay lap, for what it felt like at the time, but there just wasn't a lot of grip. My tyre temperature was starting to drop. Through the final chicane, we actually nailed this compared to the previous lap and find half a second or so, but it's not going to be enough to make any sort of difference. The fact is, we're an absolute country mile away from where we need to be. So at this point, I started to wonder, maybe I'm on the wrong tyre here. It's kind of in that awkward phase where it's like heavy rain but on the lighter side, so you can kind of run an inter or a wet. It depends on how the track evolves, and it's a bit like what we had at Monaco a couple of races ago, where I was the only car on the wets and all of the AI ran on the inters, and I was actually faster on the full wet. However, this time on the last run, the AI kind of saw what I was doing and took my advice and matched up on the wets with me, but they weren't able to improve. I found a lot more grip and a lot more confidence with these tyres. You can see we're 1.4 seconds up. However, the rain has just started to lighten up a little bit, and it's not exactly ideal full wets. It probably would have been better to do this the other way around and run the full wets in the first qualifying run, but up to the line, we're going to improve but remain P10, which isn't ideal. There's not a lot more time in it than that, so I'll keep pushing, but you can see we're down by about half a tenth here on the very next lap, and time's running out, so this is going to be our last attempt as we head under the shadow at the bridge. Through here though, we just outbrake ourselves, compromise the line, and invalidate, so that is going to be qualifying done for us here today. Bit of a shame, and not really on the pace, you know, but still I'm not going to complain. It's the first Q3 on a proper track, if you exclude, I'd say, Monaco and those kind of scenarios. That's a very good result for us, and the car was working well, but man, that's frustrating. That is a shame. That I think there was a lot more pace there. I think if I'd run the wets in that first run, it could have been better, and then the intermediates and the final run might have been the better option, but either way, just got the timing a bit wrong and the track conditions a bit wrong, but we live and learn. But yeah guys, qualifying done, let's get into the race.
It's time once again then to go racing here in Montreal, the second largest French-speaking city in the world and home since 1978 to the Canadian Grand Prix. We'll be seeing top speeds of around 210 miles per hour here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 2/3 of the lap taken at full throttle. High-speed chicanes spell potential danger, especially at the infamous Wall of Champions, and watch out for overtaking into the hairpin at that final chicane. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. It's Sergio Perez on pole today, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Russell, Fernando Alonso, and Gasly, Martinez, Tsunoda, Norris, and Esteban Ocon, Leclerc, Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, and Albon, Hamilton. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Mick Schumacher, Guan Yu Zhou, they've taken a grid penalty, and Kevin Magnussen, Stroll, and Nicholas Latifi. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. A warm welcome to Natalie Pinkham, who is beside me in the commentary box today. So let's have a chat about Nicholas Latifi. They've had to change their gearbox, of course. It's never a good start to a Grand Prix when right off the bat you have to contend with a grid penalty.
Fingers crossed that's one failure they won't have to worry about today at least. There's not much of a silver lining to starting down the field with a penalty, but I think they'll be able to make some of that back up over the course of the race.
It's funny how F1 works, 7 races and we're nowhere. We struggle so much. The best we can muster is a P12 at best. Then Baku arrives. We have our worst qualifying of the season, followed by a race in which was actually our best one and we score a point. And then we go to the next race, Canada, and we qualify P7. We get into Q3 as there's a bunch of grid penalties, and we may have a chance of actually keeping this position because the rain is going to be very interesting this race and will play a major part. I don't know how this is going to work out. All I know is it's going to be chaos. So I think on paper, we're looking at a medium, intermediate, and a soft maybe at the end. The rain could change, the forecast could change, but I guess we'll find out. I'm running 1 lap under on the fuel, as usually in the wet periods we tend to save fuel. And there's going to be at least 2 stops this race, I think, so that will also save fuel. Tyre pressures have gone pretty high, quite aggressive, partly because of the rain, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, medium tyres on, let's go for it. And you never know, we might actually have a good result on our hands here today.
We're expecting the rain to hit us any time now. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Well, that's a bit of a surprise. The forecast is already somewhat inaccurate, so we could be seeing rain pretty much straight away. That's very interesting. Anyway, we'll line her up and we'll get ready for the race start. We'll go relatively aggressive to the inside. And there we go.
Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid is formed. Be ready with the clutch.
Roger that. Let's get to it. Hopefully, we survive the first lap. Excellent start. really good start. Down to 1. Got to be careful. Alonso, Russell and Sainz battling away. Alonso a bit slow. Had a slight bit of contact with him.
The energy stores depleting, reducing our overall capacity. The more charge you hold, the faster that capacity will drop.
Battling behind Norris and Gasly. That's going to take the pressure off. Up into P6. I'm going to get a nosebleed being this high up. I have no idea what this feels like in Aston Martin, but let's see what our pace is like. Hopefully we can hang in there. I'm not sure if I want the rain based off qualifying pace. I think I'd be happy with the dry conditions, but we'll see. Maybe in the race we'll be a bit more competitive. You never know. Great start though. Really happy with this so far. Let's hope we can keep up. Ideally, hold on to some DRS, but easier said than done. Side by side, Russell versus Sainz. Alonso's a bit slow off the corner, although he just moves across and ruins my momentum. I'll have a look though around the outside. So Alonso leaves it wide open. Oh, that's a horrible exit. Zero rear traction there. And Pierre Gasly now coming into play. The Alpine holding us up, and now the AlphaTauri looking to go through. The chicane, Sainz and Russell side by side. Gasly in a bit hot, and we're gonna
Clear, green flag.
get the run on Fernando here.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
And that's an excellent pass, giving Fernando the squeeze on the exit, and we're into the top 5. Sainz is on the hard tyre, which would explain his pace struggle. But that was a crucial bit of driving there, keeping Gasly at bay, getting the jump on Fernando, and now we've got the DRS, which is great. And I think we've got genuine pace, so I hope...
Okay, we don't think we're far away from rain now. I'll keep you updated as conditions change.
Okay, that's good. That sounds like a slight delay, maybe, so I was just about to say, hopefully the rain doesn't arrive and we can just have a few more laps in these conditions. We seem to be competitive, so long may this continue. Further behind, Gasly, I think after that chicane has had an issue, or something's happened, but he's costing the midfield runners further down some time, so that's good for us. It's going to help us pull away and create a gap. And there we go. It's raining. And it's raining fast. It's raining heavy. This could be a quick switch.
Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap.
This is going to be a quick switch. Sainz could be in trouble here. The track is changing by the second.
There's a new strategy available on the MFD. Got that, confirmed.
Sainz might have issues on that hard tyre. Getting the run on Russell here. Could we beat these two into the pit? And boxed in, which is far from ideal. I'm drifting through the hairpin. The track is completely just gone in a matter of moments. We've got to get into the pits. Alonso is looking to pass. I'm using all my battery, but I don't have the straight line speed, but we're going to just...
Okay, I think it might just be about time to come and change these tyres.
Oh my god, I just double locked. I could not stop the car. That's catastrophic. And we're going to get held. Oh, that's
Lance is in the pits.
awful. Gasly with the jump. Oh, man.
Alright, we'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in this strategy.
Gasly's got all of us. He's got Alonso as well. We're going to rejoin into traffic on dry tyres. So this could be spicy. Let's stay with it. I'm not too fussed about the pen, because there'll be a better time to serve that, so that's not really a concern. We catch Alonso, and we're going to get him at the right time, and we're going to pass him. And Magnussen. Alonso still stuck behind, so we're going to use that to pull away. But Pierre, being the smartest of the bunch, let's try and get off the Gasly here and try and catch back up. Hopefully our pace is better in the race in this tyre. If we're like qualifying pace, it's going to be a long intermediate stint for us. And I'm already struggling on the rear. Green flag, yellow flag behind. Alex Albon out of the race. That's Ricardo pits. He cost Gasly a little bit of time, so that's brought us back into play. Verstappen had to stay out in the Red Bull, so we may jump Max here. This is going to be close. On pit exit, Here comes Verstappen. And we've got it. We're ahead of Verstappen. We're in the top 5. Could have been top 4 had Pierre not jumped us. Now it's a real test. There's a pressure test now. Do we have pace on the intermediates? Verstappen is so fast. It's not even worth fighting. Combine that with the fact that we are way down in straight line speed. The AI just use their battery and they just blast past. So we'll focus on our own battle here. Try and see if I can stay ahead of Alonso. Verstappen will probably race after Pierre, so we'll maybe get a chance to fight back versus the Frenchman. Alonso all over my gearbox. I just don't have any pace. Hold on. Bit of contact there, but we stay in front. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll take a point right now. If I finish P10, that would be fine. I just want a points finish. But I'm not going to get too greedy. Leclerc now fighting back through. He'll be pretty quick and hard to keep at bay.
Radar suggests that this heavy rain will be with us for a while now. Inters seem to be the fastest tyre for now.
I'll keep an eye on the tyre temps. If it's heavy rain, I may consider switching to the wets, a bit like we've done in Monaco. Because it was working in qualifying as well. We had better pace in the wets. I'm going to try it. Controversial. Yes. A gamble. Yes. But my temps are right on the edge. 65, 66, 67. That's kind of where the limit is. And then you start to get cold tyres.
Okay, we've been informed of an incident which has resulted in lots of loose debris on the track. A safety car is being deployed.
Oh my god. Incredible. What a call. That might be the call of the race. We get to serve our penalty under safety car and we get a free stop.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
That is huge. We get to strap on a set of wets and get the penalty out the way.
Drop your speed. Our delta's too low and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately. Right.
And nobody's going to pit, so this could be a huge point in this race. A free pit stop. We get a massive slice of luck that we get to serve our pen just before the safety car got called. So we've got that off. Ocon pits, he was missing a front wing. That's the reason why the safety cars come out. But this is interesting now, so if we've got pace, this could be a brilliant bit of strategy. Oh no. Oh hell no. Not now, not this engine. Why couldn't we have that with the old engine? We've literally just changed it one race ago. Well, that's a bit of an annoying one. Damn.
So another fantastic victory for Red Bull today. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
It's an heroic effort for any driver to race in conditions like these, and seeing them fight their way to the front was very special indeed. They were able to find all the grip, all the good lines, and had the confidence to get on the power to top it all off. That's what pushed them into first place today.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. It's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
That is quite disappointing, I'm not going to lie. And also, I just wonder what would have happened. Looking at the pit stops, it does seem like it was a simple two-stop. So, medium to inter, back to dry, I'm predicting, as it's currently not raining in the background. But that's just a guess. Checo, though, with the win ahead of Sainz and Russell. Verstappen P4, ahead of Leclerc and Hamilton, who recover into the top 6. Norris, Alonso, Gasly, Ricciardo round out the best of the rest, with Bottas just outside the points. Schumacher also misses out, along with Zhou. Tsunoda, Stroll P15 from last place, not too bad. Latifi, Ocon, Magnussen, and we DNF, along with Alex Albon. So, yeah, far from great, far from ideal. Standings after that race: Checo 13 points to the good and clear everyone else. We're still chilling in P17 with a single point, which means we're still P9 in the constructors also with a single point. So, yeah, definitely not a race that I'm gassed about, cut short. And I just was starting to really get excited about the possibilities in that one. Nonetheless, what we'll do is we'll take care of upgrades now to essentially make the episode a bit longer so you guys don't realise when you click on the video that I have DNF, because this is what a YouTuber does in the F1 space. So back in the office, for the first time in a while, we're taking care of some admin at the end of an episode, but you can see failure confirmed, but we don't get any extra R&D points, which is a bit of a shame. Nonetheless, one of the upgrades has already arrived, and we've got 2 more on the 29th. So we should have a triple upgrade in place for the British Grand Prix. We've also got 10 days until said race, and we've got 2,300 points to spend. So we'll look into that in a minute. Before that, let's confirm to see what failed. ICE, which is not ideal. So we're on our last one already. Definitely not what I wanted to be the case, but we'll have to change it to the new one. Hopefully we have no more issues. But let's take care of admin and R&D. So, Aero, confirmation that the wing mirrors have arrived, and that unlocks a bit more now in terms of what we can do. So, sidepod profile drag reduction is definitely a very, very exciting upgrade, because drag reduction is ultimately what's going to help us out, and that's the biggest issue with the worst cars on the grid. They have a lot of drag. So we'll get that on, and I think we'll leave that for now because we may possibly have failures, so I want to make sure we have enough points to cover those if that is the case. So let's skip ahead to Britain and let's see if all the upgrades arrive. Houston, we don't just have a problem, we have 2 problems, and this is why I kept some points back. Both upgrades have failed, which is far from ideal, so we're going to have to go ahead and repurchase them both. Luckily I've got points to cover both, so we'll get them both on. And yeah, definitely not what I had in mind, but I also kind of expected it in a weird sort of way. So, yeah, I think that's going to be it. I don't think we can afford anything else. I was going to go for the IC upgrade, but we are missing about 60 R&D points, so we'll have to hold off on that one for now. That's pretty much going to wrap up today's episode, guys. A bit of a shame. Hopefully you enjoyed it, though. We still got Q3, which is a positive, and the pace seemed really good in Canada. I think we're going to get hit quite harshly and kind of get brought back down to reality at Silverstone. But hey-ho, listen, it's a home Grand Prix. Let's give it some in front of the home crowd and see if we can maybe make something happen. Either way, leave a like, guys. Subscribe for more daily F1 content. Check out the 2 videos in a moment on your screen. Before that, a big shout out, as always, to the members. And yeah, guys, cheers for the support as always, and I'll see you very soon. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.